And we're happy to be hosting this ceremony for Alex Parker. Glad to have all of you here visiting and the folks from St. John's in support. Some housekeeping things. There are 3 restrooms out here. You go out this door, there's one against this back wall. There's one at the top of the stairs and one at the bottom of the stairs. So if you need to make a run before we start, do it now. Otherwise, you'll have opportunity afterwards, and there's 3 of them, so you should have a shot. The reception is after this at Hunter's Ale. Can't think of anything else question-wise. All good? Again, thanks for being here. This is a great celebration. Make sure you have extra Kleenex available according to Alice. So we have a whole front row up here. This is just like church. Okay.
Can we hoot and holler up here?
Sure.
You can actually sit here too. That somebody can sit in that seat. You won't be in.
You can recruit it for everything, huh? You can recruit it for everything.
Here, we got one over there, we got this.
Hey, babe. What are you doing, sir?
Don't want to throw her off the, this is my coat, the chair is available.
And I just got $10 for it.
He's got it. You got your dress on?
The speckled one was 165 and Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and honored guests. Welcome to Mount Pleasant, Michigan. Today we honor Major Alexandra Parker on the occasion of her promotion to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Officiating today's ceremony is Colonel Dean Prentice, retired United States Air Force Nurse Corps. Before we begin today's ceremony, we would like to recognize our distinguished attendees in the audience. We are pleased to extend a special welcome to Ms. Liz Miller, Deputy Department Chair in Route Care Training Department with the United States Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine. We are also pleased to have with us today Alexandra's parents, Mr. Elliot Parker and Mrs. Amelia Parker. Her partner, David McClary, and her aunt, Susie Lyon. We would also like to recognize all other military members, family, and friends. Thank you all for sharing this special occasion with Major Parker and her parents. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of our official party and the playing of the national anthem. Let's pray. Father, we are so thankful for today. Thankful for everyone that made it out. And Father, we are especially thankful for the country in which we live. Thank you for the freedoms that we have and the men and women that have gone on to defend those freedoms. Father, I'm thankful for the skills and ability that you've given to each of them. And as we recognize Major Alexandra Parker today, Father, we're thankful for the safety that you've given her through the years, and the wisdom that you've given to her, and the skills and abilities that she has. Father, she has shown those things throughout her life. I just ask that today would be just a memorable occasion as she's promoted, and Father, also that as so many family and friends can be here to celebrate with her. Just ask that all those that have traveled, that you would take them home safely, and again, just bless this day and everything that will transpire this morning. We ask this in your name. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, continue standing for the presentation of the Meritorious Service Medal to Major Parker. Attention to orders. This is to certify that the President of the United States of America, authorized by Executive Order 16 January 1969, has awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, 1st Oak Leaf Cluster, to Major Alexandra D. Parker for the meritorious service from 29 March 2019 to 15 March 2022. Major Alexandra D. Parker distinguished herself in the performance of outstanding service as Assistant Director of Operations, 18th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, 18th Operations Group, 18th Wing, Kadena Air Base, Japan. During this period, Major Parker provided expert clinical and operational oversight to more than 100 personnel, enabling movement of 1,468 patients to a higher echelon of care. Additionally, she flew aeromedical evacuation missions across the largest area of responsibility, covering 44 nations and 2 United States territories, while accruing 329 flight hours. Moreover, Major Parker secured storage and maintenance for the theater's only biocontainment unit, while also coordinating the training of 52 aeromedical evacuation squadron and medical group personnel to ensure safe patient transport during the coronavirus global pandemic. Furthermore, she deployed in support of Operation Deep Freeze, providing patient movement capabilities to the National Science Foundation to advance the nation's science and engineering research program. Finally, Major Parker reestablished the C-130 training program, resulting in 26 missions and increasing aircraft training opportunities by 38%. Her efforts were critical to the unit's selection as Mobility Air Force's 2019 Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron of the Year, and her selection as the Pacific Air Force's Reba Zitella Whittle Award winner. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Major Parker reflect great credit upon herself and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce Colonel Prentice.
She's doing good. We're excited to be here. It is my pleasure to spend just a few moments this morning talking about a favorite person of mine. So before we get started, I have had the pleasure of knowing Alex for about 8 years now. I think I was trying to count back how long we've known each other. That's through many pizza stories, that's international travel, that's through having a lot of camaraderie about people we work with that we liked a lot, and some of the ones that we didn't like so much. And so we were excited. I was excited when she called and said, would I come and just share a few words as is tradition. So thank you for that. It's so good to see Mr. and Mrs. Parker here. I am just thrilled that I could see you guys again. Ms. Miller, thank you so much for traveling with us. Auntie, so good to have you. David, as always, good to see you. And for everybody who came today to see Alex and get promoted. Let me just share just a few moments with you. The history of promotion in the military is very different than how the civilian world does it. Promotion in the military is not about what you've done. Promotion in the military is about what we expect you to do in the future. So when an officer is selected for promotion, it's not based off of their past accomplishments, but what is the expectation of what they're going to be able to do in the future. And as you heard in Alex's Meritorious Service Medal, First Oak Leaf Cluster, in her last assignment alone, she has done some remarkable things. When I go back to those days of old, when Alex and I worked together at, I was going to say 18th Air Force, but that was way far back, at Air Force Central Command at Shaw Air Force Base, she was a very exciting, energetic, young captain who came to us and was ready to tackle the world as an international health specialist. And when I got her into the office and I was in my, as we would say, my waning days, my final 4 years in the military, it was fun to see her because she had exuberance and she had excitement. And she was sort of like, as we would go on and talk in later years, and we'd have small, if you will call them mentoring sessions, I kind of collect everybody in our office as a dog type. Okay, and so Alex was kind of a little bit of a Labrador puppy. She was ready to go and energetic, and she was willing to serve, and she was very trainable. And when you get somebody in your unit like that, it's wonderful because she had the skill set, she had the knowledge, she's had the experience, and now let's put that moving forward. And her time with me at AFCENT, Air Force's Central Command at Shaw Air Force Base in the lovely state of South Carolina, where it's not snowing, it was a time that we had that was a lot of fun. She trained me, and I trained her. I got to help mentor her through a couple of early challenging ideas that we had together, and she was working in an office that was new and was not well organized. And so if you know anything about Alex, organization is one of her strong suits. But I was there also when she got promoted from captain to major. And that was an exciting time because they obviously saw something in her and it came to fruition because what she has done in that time when she was a major has done amazing things. In these short 8 years, we've had excitements and joys, sadness and sorrows, but I have noticed 3 things about Alex. That if I would wrap her up in 3 themes, it would be focus, dedicated, and trusted. So what's interesting, if you go back through a lot of her reports, now I asked her to give me her reports of her evaluations for annual. She kind of only gave me the good ones. None of the ones that I wrote were in that group, by the way. So I think that's kind of the appropriate thing. But because I knew her, she was gracious enough to give me what she has done since then. And in those short 5 years that we have been separated from military service, so you understand part of what the military sees as her future potential. And I'll explain some of these for you, but I'd love to go over rankings because the military is about ranking. We are the world's greatest Air Force. Proud to say that, won't back down from that. But in Alex's reports in these last several years, she's had several rankings. Her lowest ranking is one of 9 flight officers. So flight's the smallest unit we have in the military. So she was number 1 of 9. That's her lowest ranking that Alex got. So it tells you where we go from there. She was in the next level up. You have squadron, but not really Squadron Cadena that gave her anything. But the group, which is next level up, Alex got number 12 of 56. 12 of 56, not just nurses, but all officers, which in an ops group includes pilots. So we're excited to talk about that. And then we go to the next level up, which is the wing. The wing is the largest unit in an Air Force organization, and Alex has 2 rankings. Her first one was she was number 5 of 68 of the nurses in the wing, and her other one was number 1 of 17. So when you talk about being focused, you have a focused Alexandra D. Parker. We love the fact that she went to a university close, right? Not too far around here. Boilermaker, so got her BSN from Purdue, and then she got her master's in public health from Uniformed Services University, which is a DoD medical training school in Washington, D.C. And she has done a lot with that. You look at the second part, which Alex is about being dedicated. And I love the fact a lot of her her past in air medical evacuation was very similar to mine. Training is her first stop, which makes a lot of sense. Alex is very good at that. She trained a lot of people in her job with me at ABSENT, so she had a lot of those opportunities to do that. She also got her certification, which is no easy feat. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and prayers, and blood, sweat, and tears to make that accomplished. You heard about her deployment to Anhutica? Anhutica. So she did that very well. I do also think it's amazing to say that Alex and I did a lot together around food when we were stationed together, because it was always about eating. Because in South Carolina, there's not a lot to do, so we did find a lot of food. But our other kind of pair passion was fitness. And so, the Air Force makes you do a fitness test. Now, I was not as good as Alex. She gave me her whole history of her fitness scores, which were all excellent. If you need to know, they were excellent. Mine were never excellent because I like food and ice cream a little more than Alex does. But I do remember getting very excited when I did my one fitness test in South Carolina with her. And if you don't do well, not an excellent, you have to take it every 6 months. Alex took hers yearly because she always got an excellent score. So proud of you, so proud of you. She even took my daughter on a few of those runs, which was kind of to her chagrin, but she enjoyed that. But I do remember celebrating with Alex when I did probably my second one when I was at Shaw Air Force Base, because I got an excellent. I was so excited I got an excellent. And she said to me, well, what did you do that made you go from average to excellent? And I said, they're called old man points, because I went from 49 to 50. So since my waist did not get any bigger, and I ran the same speed, I'm now excellent. So getting older was a good thing. So I kind of share with her, she has a little future. She may can put on a little weight and run a little slower, but you got to cross over that decade mark. So she shared with me her fitness scores, which again goes back to my view of her as being a dedicated person. And then she's also considered trusted. A lot of things that they share on those annual reports are words. And the words they use are very specifically crafted. Now, we did giggle last night and we were reminiscing at a lovely pizza place about how our annual reports are put together and how the military has a knack with abbreviating everything so that you can get as much space as you can possibly get on those 9 lines to make sure you share what a person has done over a whole year. But the words we use were very specifically chosen because those are the words that are used to recommend you for promotion. So I love the words that were used in her recent reports. Phenomenal, trailblazer, champion, and a hard charger. And that, to me, explains a lot of what Alex is like. So the fun part that Alex and I had together during our years, again, always involved pizza. I will say that one of Alex's also jobs when we were together was to kind of keep me in line. And I know that sounds like an oddity, but in the reality is I'm fairly non-traditional. Alex is definitely much more a traditional Air Force officer. So that meant that if we were going someplace, she kind of had to play my gatekeeper. So now tell me, which country borders Iran? Turkmenistan. So Alex would regale me. I think I don't remember the right country. That's why I have someone smart work for me. She would talk about going to a restaurant in Turkmenistan that was literally the wall was on the border of Iran. And she took me to Uzbekistan and had a phenomenal trip, which is a whole other story. But I kept saying, so can you go there? She said, yes. I said, so if we go to this restaurant and we walk outside and I accidentally fall across the border and stand up and grab a rock so I have a rock from Iran, would that be okay? And Alex never took me to Turkmenistan. We spent, on my cell phone is still a picture of us getting on a Turkish Airways flight that we prayed would land because safety measures in some of our foreign countries are not the same as they are in the US. But you'd have thought we were having a great time because our little sleeping masks were on top of our foreheads and we have a picture of us smiling. We had plenty of time in our trip to Uzbekistan to do a lot of fun things. Most of the time it was do not get in trouble, do not get in trouble, do not get in trouble. And I don't know why you're giving me these words of encouragement. I'm glad to say our week and a half there, I did not get in trouble, and I left the country with an invite to come back. And so I think that's phenomenal. One of the other things that Alex and I have a lot of fun about is our families. And so Alex, as we were both away from family, living in South Carolina, she very much became a part of ours. The future for Alex. A lot of things recommended for her. I see great things. I think 05 is just the next step. I believe there's one more step after that for you. But I think one day we're hoping that she will become a chief nurse, which would be excitable. She has done well academically, so she could go on to a senior military education opportunity. I'm almost thinking that's a waste of her time because she already has part of that done. I think she needs to be in charge of troops and to mentor and to provide future guidance. She's had a world of success. She has had a world of fun. She loves her family dearly. She loves her friends dearly. She is absolutely about defending those relationships. She's fortunate enough to have David in her life, who I think, in the right term, balances you. Or collects your marbles when they go rolling. I appreciate that one. And it is a great opportunity that you are here to experience today her promotion to Lieutenant Colonel, which is well deserved. So, very good, Alex. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the publishing of the orders. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Major Alexandra Parker. In view of these special qualities and her demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Major Alexandra Parker is promoted to the permanent grade of Lieutenant Colonel, United States Air Force, effective 1 July 2023, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Mr. Mr. and Mrs. Parker and Mr. McCleary, will you please come forward and help pin on the new ring? Colonel Prentice will now administer the oath of office to Major Parker.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Alexander Parker,
having been appointed a Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Air Force,
having been appointed a Lieutenant Colonel of the United States Air Force,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Parker.
As most of you guys know, the last couple months have been pretty hard for my family. But in the military, we always say these ceremonies aren't about the member, it's about our family. And that got us where we're at today. So it was really important for me to have my ceremony that my parents can attend and be able to participate in. My mom and dad instilled in me the desire to see the world and to serve people and to have deep and meaningful relationships. They were the first team that I traveled overseas with, which led me to taking countless military teams all over the world to teach and learn from partner nations. They are the first people who demonstrated acts of kindness and loyalty, which led me to volunteering in a local nursing home and my desire today to teach and influence the next generation of Air Force nurses. They are the people who have friends all over the world and work hard to maintain those relationships, despite the tyranny of time and distance, as we say in AE, and led to David and I being able to beat the odds and make it all work. So thank you guys. That you came to support me, but really to support my parents. Because they're the ones that got me here. I love you guys. And I have a little gift.
Now, Technical Sergeant Blanca Gama and Lieutenant Colonel Stephanie Till will perform a flag folding ceremony in honor of Lieutenant Colonel Parker. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been a symbol of our nation's unity, as well as a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. Born on June 14, 1777, the Second Continental Congress determined that the flags of the United States be 13 stripes, alternating between 7 red and 6 white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. Between 1777 and 1960, the shape and design of the flag evolved into the flag presented before you today. The 13 horizontal stripes represent the original 13 colonies, while the stars represent the 50 states of the Union. The colors of the flag are symbolic as well. Red symbolizes hardiness and valor. White signifies purity and innocence. And blue represents vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Traditionally, a symbol of liberty, the American flag has carried the message of freedom and inspired Americans both at home and abroad. In 1814, Francis Scott Key was so moved at seeing the stars and stripes waving after the British shelling of Baltimore's Fort McHenry that he wrote the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1892, the flag inspired Francis Bellamy to write the Pledge of Allegiance, our most famous flag salute and patriotic oath. In July 1969, the American flag was flown in space when Neil Armstrong planted it on the surface of the moon. Today, our flag flies on constellations of the Air Force satellites that circle our globe and on the fin flash of our aircraft in harm's way in every corner of the world. Indeed, it flies in the heart of every airman who serves our great nation. The sun never sets on our U.S. Air Force, nor on the flag we so proudly cherish. Since 1776, no generation of Americans has been spared the responsibility of defending freedom. Today's airmen remain committed to preserving the freedom that others won for us for generations to come. By displaying the flag and giving it a distinctive fold, we show respect to the flag and express our gratitude to those individuals who fought and continue to fight for freedom at home and abroad. Since the dawn of the 20th century, airmen have proudly flown the flag in every major conflict, on lands and skies around the world. It is their responsibility, our responsibility, to continue to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we as Americans enjoy today. The United States flag represents who we are. It stands for freedom we all share and the pride and patriotism we feel for our country. We cherish its legacy as a beacon of hope to one and all. Long may it wave. Thank you, Technical Sergeant Gama and Lieutenant Colonel Till. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please come forward to congratulate Lieutenant Colonel Parker and then join us for a reception at Hunter's Ale House.
He was not the young spring chicken I used to be.
I think officially done.